Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Vaesen Behind the Masks. We are now up to session 26. Who would have thunk it? So where we left it, our little Vaesen hunters have realized that the object that they're after is actually a reliquary of St. Giles, and that it was buried under the altar on the good old Plague Island of Venice. And they're now, I believe, at a shop trying to shake down the black market antiquity dealer for reliquary.
Antonio Malvario or something?
Malevolo. Close.
Malevolo, yep. Severino and Dr. Bennett went there late at night. And had to say, show us the good stuff.
You disturb the man having his nightcap, and you bent in his door.
It's my MO.
And that is your MO. And you said, "Show me the shit." And he showed you some stuff. He showed you some interesting stuff. He showed you some jewelry. He showed you some weapons, which you actually did ask for. And that's where we're kind of going to pick it up tonight. He is looking at you from across his counter. Two men in his store, well after closing time, asking for high-end, very black market level stuff.
Yeah, I can't quite remember. Wasn't the last thing that I said something more specific about the reliquary or something? I feel like he was like...
I think it's just something, a church artifact.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So he's going to strike another match, and he pulls a cigar out of his pocket and lights up the cigar. And that demeanor on his face, he's been jovial, he's been helpful, a little bit cagey, but he's been nice to you. But as he sits there puffing on this cigar and the smoke starts to create that haze around him, you kind of see a coldness settle in his eye, a more steely expression. I know you're not the Carabinieri. That much is patently obvious. But you must understand, I don't know you. There's no one here to vouch for you. You come into my store at, checks his watch, 10:30 at night, and I've not seen a glint of coin. So unless you are carrying a wheelbarrow maybe stashed out in the street, tell me why I should help you.
Anything, Severino?
I mean, I've got a manipulation skill. I'm just trying to think of an angle. We didn't really plan this too well.
Yeah, I'm also sort of thinking as far as currency, what would Bennett have? I mean, resources-wise, he's got resources 4, which is not spectacular, but not terrible.
You're right, it's not spectacular. It's not terrible. You could, in theory, have a wheelbarrow of cash, but you would need time to liquidate some assets to extract that cash.
Or drugs in the form of medicine, which you do have access to.
That's a lot of drugs.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a black market for it back in those days as it is now.
Well,
I mean, really, a mercury enema, does that really float your boat?
Don't knock it until you tried it.
Sells.
Opium does always sell. However, Venice does have its own little black market. It is, after all, a very well-known port trading town.
Yeah.
It's
Probably
got a
few opium dens hidden somewhere.
Correct. So, unless you're seriously undercutting the locals, in which case, I'm pretty sure you won't be walking the next couple of days because they'll kneecap you. Yeah.
I think what Bennett might say is, that you mentioned that you don't know me, so allow me to give you something of an insight into myself. I am one of the most valuable things to a person like you. An extremely bored Englishman with more money than sense and a real problem with letting go. So I am willing to put all of my money into finding this one particular object. And if you don't believe me, come closer. You can smell the desperation on me.
I look at him like, you went, okay.
Malvola takes another big puff, and then he starts. The corner of his mouth starts to twitch, and that little weedy mustache he got starts to tremble, and then there's this low little chuckle that kind of bubbles up from inside.
I think I'll lean into the amateur thing and start saying, you've got access to medicine and drugs, and that. Should we tell them that? I don't know.
No. It's funny that you mentioned an Englishman, because an Englishman's one of my customers. Perhaps you heard of him. He is MP of East Gloucestershire. Quite a very famous collector. One of my best clients, really. But he's already paid for the artifact you are seeking. So if you really want it, maybe you need to speak to him to buy it off him.
Boomst was that again? For my notes.
I'll make it simple for you, sir. His name is the Honourable Robert Stainer Holford of East Gloucestershire, of course.
Do I know of him, at least by name?
Bennett's mostly grown up around London, hasn't he?
Yeah.
You have heard of his name? It would have popped up in the newspapers while you were in England from time to time, because he was an MP for East Gloucestershire, and he certainly wasn't shy about throwing his weight around. What you do recollect about this gentleman is that he has been described as a collector with an eye for quality and the means to indulge it without stint. Which, if you're a level 4 in terms of resources, is probably a 6 or a 7.
Yeah.
He collects paintings. He's very much a connoisseur of things like remnant, illuminated manuscripts, tapestries, and his whole collection is displayed at Dorchester House. I mean, he has over 100 old masters in his house, and that's just paintings. We're not talking about artifacts. So, likes the finer stuff in life, has the cash to back it up.
So it hasn't been delivered to him yet, though.
Are you asking me or Malavola?
I'm gonna ask him. Are we still negotiating here, or is it gone?
We could potentially negotiate, but remember, even if I take this reliquary and sell it to you, I then offend a long-time customer of mine. So if you are going to make me an offer, it better be worth my while to burn that bridge.
Would you let me speak with my my colleague here for a moment? I'll sort of step over and let me and Severine have a quick little powwow. There's no way we can we can't beat him on a
Well, that's what I was going to offer. I can shoot him and beat him unconscious.
Okay, we're brainstorming. No bad ideas. So let's build. I was thinking more along the lines of, what could we potentially give him that only someone with our particular allies and interests could provide?
Yes.
Prostitutes?
I've heard unicorn horns go for a lot.
Oh, wow.
No. Not that. Don't tell her I said that.
I guess it would crucify us both.
I'm just wondering, I don't know how, like, and Bennett will say this, I don't know how, like, sacrilegious this is to say, but the villa is old and it has a lot of old things in it. Is there anything in there potentially that could be of equal worth to this artifact?
I mean, I don't. Hey, do you know if the only valuable thing I can think of is that big mirror that Adelaide got? Have we still got that, or did she take it?
I don't believe she took it.
Ah, what if maybe he'd like that?
If only we knew anything about it.
Well, it just looked fancy. I just thought, we just.
It looked fancy. Yeah, I'm sure we could get some good store credit at like a furniture store, but I don't know if it's black market fancy.
Okay. Well, there's my two ideas. I beat the hell out of him while we give him the mirror.
I mean, yes, it is good that it seems like it's still physically here, because if it was in, Gloucestershire or wherever, Devon, where do you say he stores these things?
The Dorchester House.
Dorchester House. That would be quite outside of our reach.
Well, that's another option. We could break in there. I can't say that's my forte, but
I've got an excellent track record.
Really? Oh,
No,
I didn't know that.
Sorry, just stupid question. Where is the Dorchester House?
Somewhere in East Gloucestershire.
Just making sure that that's not in Venice.
Right. However, all the people that want to kill us won't think we're going to England, so that could be an option.
Yes, perhaps. Excuse me, and I'll turn back to him. I have a few connections and might be able to scrounge together enough to make making an enemy of this politician worth your while. What sort of timeline can you give me?
Ship departs in 2 days.
I knew you were going to say 2 days.
Given it's almost Christmas, yes, it was always going to be the 23rd. It's cutting it too fine otherwise.
Public holidays. Yep. Okay. I'll turn back to Severino. I mean, unless we don't even know if it's here,
We could look on the ship and disable it, giving us more time to deal with the problem.
All right. I think we're done here. Expect an offer from me shortly.
I look forward to it.
You don't have any holy weapons, do you? Like a pistol blessed by the Pope or something like that.
Oh God, no. No.
Shotgun?
I think there would all be musket, front-loaded weapons at this point, but yeah.
I think our business here is done, gentlemen. I'll see you perhaps in a couple of days. Otherwise, that reliquary is going to England.
Yeah.
And he escorts you. He'll step out from behind the counter and gesture to the front door and slowly usher you out. As he goes to close the door behind you, he'll give you one last parting piece of advice. And if you even think of trying to rob me, think again. I'm not alone. Good night, gentlemen.
Good night.
Good night. So, robbing him. I don't know. Part of me does still like the idea of, can we actually genuinely find something worthwhile? I mean, mechanically, is there any way for us to generate enough pure money to sort of compete with that? Or
honestly, short of finding a treasure of your own, legally, there's no way you'd be able to pull that much money, not even with your father's help.
Do you think Miss Hardwell has anything in her savings?
She's got a nest egg under her
She
mattress.
seems like a good saver.
She's got a Fabergé egg, but she might need 3 or 4 of them to pay this guy off. We're talking that sort of level of wealth.
Yeah.
It's not cheap.
All right. We could try and figure out what ship he's on in case and disable it to give us more time to deal with the problem. We could try and find out where they're staying in town and have a chat with them.
Yeah, this Mr. is it Holford?
Holford. Yeah.
Holford.
Alford, yep.
He wouldn't be here, right? He would be.
Might be.
Hardly unlikely to travel this way. Most likely this is just a shipping thing. You know, item in box on ship go to
Yeah.
England. No.
Yeah, I think Bennett's like, I'm just very hesitant to be in conflict with these sorts.
Really? Well, you know, we've been asked by the Queen of Winter to kill someone that's going around killing spirit creatures and stuff, and you're worried about some thugs?
In my experience, humans are capable of such terrific terror that,
That's fair.
especially ones with connections, as he threatened.
You talking about Agatha or? All right. Well, we should go back to the villa and consider our options.
Yep.
Yep.
Do-do-do.
Okay, you can head back to the villa. It's all good, no problems. It's a nice quiet night. You don't get disturbed on your amble back. By this time, it's probably a little bit late.
Yeah, I think presuming that potentially everyone's asleep at this point, maybe Bennett puts the sort of kettle on himself, you know, to make a late tea.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's worth waking Miss Hartwell to discuss our options? Time is the essence.
Is it? Oh, okay. I suppose.
We've only got 2 days, and depending on what we decide to do, I don't know how long, if that's enough time.
I'm betting she's in the library anyway. I'll have a quick look, see if she's up in the library.
Yeah, I think she would be actually in the library, because we did also visit that academic who gave us some more information. So with renewed vigor and an actual understanding of what the heck we're looking for, she would be scouring the library for the specific saint.
Yeah. I'll allow you now to Google St. Giles of the Lepers. But yeah, the information which I've already given you pretty much, it's not the full life. I've just consolidated a couple points out of it, but you can go Google it to your heart's content now.
She'd be kind of looking to see, because who knows what is in this library, if there's an actual kind of image or drawing, like a sketch of the reliquary.
Oh, that, Madame, I can do for you. So just please imagine this being a hand-drawn black and white sketch versus the colour plate I'm about to show you.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Ah.
Very
Cool.
ornate, bejeweled.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Like, the box alone would be worth a lot of money.
Not something you can have quickly faked.
No.
Damn it.
And you remember, you've just seen a rough pencil sketch of this reliquary, so you don't know the actual colours behind it and the finer details of it.
Yeah.
So,
Damn it.
Other than it's obviously very opulent and intricate.
yes. Which is befitting the hands of a saint.
Agatha, we thought we would find you here. We've just been to see some delightful chaps in town. Apparently, they're going to sell this reliquary to some rich guy from England. Not him, a different one. And I'm not sure we have enough money to sort of outbid them or anything.
I am not sure that anyone would, and she'll slide the book across the table and kind of tap on the image. It is worth a king's ransom, it would seem.
I don't have that. You don't have a fortune stashed in that handbag of yours or anything, no?
Modest, but nothing that would
Damn it.
meet any such fee.
Could we sell the doctor? How much is How much are you worth, Dr. Bennett?
Oh, I don't think I'm anywhere near close to the worth of that box.
Oh, 10 years service. That's you know.
Am I to understand that you know who it's in the hands of?
Loosely,
And
but not its physical location, other than where it's going to be in
shall
2 days' time.
I assume not legally?
It's not being legally held. There's very few legal precedents for having the hands of a
Yeah.
saint.
I mean, I think they illegally took it off the island, so
Well,
you
there
wouldn't
is
catch me taking
always-
stuff.
You want to call the popo on them?
Oh, well, the local constabulary in Venice does not take kindly to such things as grave robbing.
Is there a way we could give them like a rumor there's stuff on the boat and they could impound the boat for a while? Just to delay things, give us a bit more time?
Not a terrible last.
Well, I'm happy to blow up the boat, but I thought that might be nicer.
Alright. Mark the time as 24 minutes before we tried to burn something down or blow up. Yeah. I mean, do either of you even know the first thing involved in piracy? Or
I think you shoot at people and you say, give us your stuff. It's just like mugging.
Piracy, no, but using legal means to our own ends.
I can't remember, this is an out of game question. Did we find out that the Black Rose are here?
They've been in Venice. They were in Venice for several years, particularly when society was in Venice as well. So they were actually in direct conflict with each other in Venice. But that all kind of all died away when Attila died. And then the Black Rose kind of disappeared from Venice.
Yeah.
But the Black Rose is also more itinerant.
Yeah, because I guess perhaps because we don't believe we need the box, presumably, as much as what is in it. I correct me if I'm wrong. I see gestures to Miss Hartwell. I'm not quite sure on the precedent of where the power comes from, but presumably it is indeed the hands themselves.
Yes, presumably it is not whatever the container is.
If we were to go down some sort of illicit route, something like that would maybe be slightly more plausible. It would certainly give us a buffer before anyone knows something's gone wrong, presumably until that ship gets to England, which would give us a nice head start. So I can get my hands on a few hands for sure, but that still raises the question of how do we get to the reliquary and how do we...
I mean, we could pretend to be ship workers and hang around the docks and grab the package when it rocks up.
I just feel that's going to be the hardest time to get access to it because there's so many people around and it's in movement.
Yeah.
Unless we could get like onto the ship as crew or something like that.
Doctor,
Yes, Miss Harwell?
do you happen to know which of your young lady friends works in the docks district?
Don't know what Mr. Severino has been telling you, but I assure you I have no such connections.
You've had a steady stream of them rocking up at your door, dude.
Which of the young ladies?
Okay, true. I mean, if my clinic has been inundated with them, then fine, I'll take that. Do I know any ladies of the night near the docks?
Well, I'm going to let you drive that part of it because to me it seems reasonable.
Yes. I know a few ladies who have come in for some ointments, whatever it is.
For their professional concerns, Doctor. Yes.
Yes. That have mentioned stories of many stories of semen and the like.
Oh my god.
That might be the
Anyway.
title of this episode.
Lots of little swimmers.
Um,
Man, overboard.
But yes, what did you have in mind?
Well, the young ladies are well versed in the comings and goings
of
well
goods on the
versed
docks.
in
Yeah.
the happenings on the docks. There is potential, of course, that they could distract one or more of the crew enough.
Couldn't
for
the doctor
someone
visit
to
the ship
slip-
under the guise of, he heard someone sick and he was asked to come onto the ship? Because not all ships would have their own doctor, surely.
That is another potential, Doctor. You have been spreading a rumor, or well, not a rumor, but it is becoming known that you have an interest in plague.
Well, certainly at least that my father does. Yes, perhaps that seems reasonable, but then you would want me to perform this act of thievery?
Well, no, Doctor, but perhaps.
You could go and do a recon, have a look around, and
And there is no reason why you should not have your assistant with you.
wait, is that me or you?
Yeah. Where is a good doctor about his vinegar-soaked apprentice?
I ran out.
It's got staying power, Severino. Yes, I'm certainly happy to attempt a reconnaissance. I guess the only issue with me doing reconnaissance is that it's such a good hook to get onto the boat that it'd be a shame to, use it up just to do the recon. But maybe if Severino was willing to.
Well, someone else can be nearby and, just run on if things go badly or whatever. And
Is this something that you've done before, Severino? And
well, it's just a diversion. Someone's keeping a lookout from a different angle, and someone goes in and just keep an out. Someone's just lookout basically. Someone can be with you, and the other person can be.
And we can provide an easier means of the young ladies on the docks earning some coin. Being a lookout is not far
Well, that sounds
removed
like a great
from-
idea, but what's that got to do with the reliquary?
I just meant.
Yes, come on, Miss Hartwell.
I just meant,
Focus on the
young
job.
men, that if you needed a lookout, then the young women are very versed on things that occur in the docks and are well able to create a diversion if needed.
Okay, so the plan here would be scout before the reliquary gets there or after the reliquary's been loaded onto the ship?
I think perhaps, Doctor, you could time it with some careful observation and, as I said,
Even if you did
people
before, it'll still let us know how many
happy-
guards are on the ship or whatever.
people happy to act as lookouts to arrive at a similar time to the reliquary and detain the ship from leaving due to reports of plague.
Okay.
You might just be able to detain the ship from leaving from reports of plague anyway. You are a legit doctor, so.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if this could actually get us into the reliquary as well, right? Like, if we're trying to do some checking for, controlling any potential risk of, something leaving Venice, a
People
mystery.
are smuggling food sources or whatever, and we can.
Yeah,
We need to
yeah.
look. Yeah.
Potentially.
We're health inspectors.
Yeah. It's not the worst idea group of PCs ever come up with.
And we can hire some young men, perhaps, to act the part.
The men of the night. In my particular, in my clinic, am I dealing with any cadavers?
No.
No, didn't think so.
That's always a good time to start.
To be fair, you haven't actually gone fossicking around in that cellar. God knows what's in there.
And I'm sure you could also find the local resurrection men. There's always someone selling.
And then there's a hospital. Actually,
I
what
think I'd
sort of
rather than the grave robbers than talk to my father.
what talk to you ilk? What
Wow.
what sort of bones are you looking for?
Hands?
Okay, no. Well, you might be able to find them at the hospital, not even in the morgue, but in specimen jars, like in an anatomical lab or things like that. So that might be another option.
Okay.
You could even substitute it with animal bones.
Yeah, that's sort of what I was thinking, because like it's not like a paleontologist is going to be on site. Yeah.
I mean, you could just get a bunch of bones. Most people don't know that much. They could be half animal bones for what most people do.
Yeah, maybe we could even ask around at like a butcher or something.
Chicken thigh bones
Yeah.
look a lot like phalanges.
Okay. So, Ms. Hartwell, do you think you could acquire the bones? If you don't feel comfortable with it, I could.
I am sure I can acquire some meat with bones, or at least Artemisia would know the best butcher available.
Okay. So if we have bones, then we just need to be basically at all times ready to go on this ship, to go to the ship. So definitely a scouting and a bit of a look around is wise.
You can always go for a stroll and see if there's any obvious, huge pile of guards on the ships or whatever that are going to England.
Yeah. And perhaps over the next day or so, I can speak to a few choice clientele, or patients, I should say, and see if I can get them to, what's the word, like scout when it's coming. You know what I mean? Like when the reliquary is on the move, because we don't know exactly where it's coming from, and we don't necessarily know exactly what ship it's going to. So the more time we've got to sort of connect those two dots, the better.
Miss Hartwell is quite happy to assist in finding the correct ship. After all, it would be perfectly acceptable for a woman of her ilk to be trying to find passage before Christmas to England. Not outside the realm of possibilities.
All right, so I think mostly all that's left is that we will. So Severino, do you feel that if I was able to get you basically to the reliquary, could you do the handoff potentially?
The handoff. What you mean?
Or the switch?
Yeah, sure.
Perfect. Okay.
I think
In the
that's a good
In the
plan.
meantime, time for bed, I guess.
I shall inquire as to ships leaving for England in the morning.
All right.
I think you have a good plan.
Off to bed. Yeah.
Off to bed. Off to bed. Well done, people. That was good. And I do love the irony of it, I must admit. Quarantining a ship. I think that's bloody brilliant.
Yeah, that was definitely the golden center of this plan, was that idea.
Okay, so you all head off to bed. Severino, roll me a 1d2.
A what? A D2?
A d2. Basically heads or tails.
Flip a
If you roll
coin.
evens, I'm going to do something to you.
Oh, okay. Evens.
Okay. You're sleeping in bed.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Up in the attic.
up in the attic, with that cold window that keeps creaking open and that door and that keeps getting stuck and your blankets keep dripping off you. But during the night, you have a proper heart-pounding, sweat-drenching nightmare.
Oh, sweet.
And
Okay.
all you remember from, you just wake up, you know, when you just bolt upright and you go, something bad happened. And all you can remember seeing are two darkly golden red eyes, like cat-like, just staring at you in the darkness. And it's just this ominous presence just lurking through.
I'll sip some water and probably just sit and listen for a while.
It's quiet. Umbra's not happy. Umbra goes,
It's coming.
but no, it's dead quiet out there. There's no signs of disturbance. It's all in your head, man. It's all in your head.
Check my weapons are nearby.
Yes, they're
Not that
exactly
I
where you left them.
necessarily inspect them to work, but it's still comforting. And something methodical I can do. And I'll sleep lightly the rest of the night, I guess.
Pretty much. The morning rolls around. Breakfast is on the table. You guys can come down when you wish.
If I wanted to forge some documentation, basically, giving me, saying that, I am, blah, 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 to check outgoing ships for signs of plague, what would I be rolling for that?
Contacts? Is there a contacts on this thing?
No, there's a contact talent, which I was considering getting, which means you can know someone, which would be...
That would be good. What does that contact talent hang off?
Would it be
You'll have-
inspiration or manipulation?
Inspiration. Let's go with inspiration to begin with.
Hey, Sabrina, want to forge a document for me?
Sure. Nothing. Shit.
Okay.
I'll push it. What the hell?
Okay.
It's as important to me because I need to focus on something, so I don't stop thinking about those bloody eyes staring at me. Wow, one.
Success. You won't be able to forge a note without a copy, like without an original note, if that makes sense. You could copy one, but you need a good one to copy. And then I say you can do it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Is that something you get from the hospital, or?
I mean, I'm almost wondering if I go to the hospital, as much as I don't want to do this, and I did talk to my father, I wonder if I could get one, like, almost legitimate, like, but yes, either way, Bennett will suck up and he's gonna head to the hospital today.
You ignoring breakfast?
I'll have a scone.
You'll have a scone? And the newspaper that's on the table?
Oh, why not? Let's give it a squeeze. Need to do something while I sip my tea.
Sure. Artemisia tells you to sit down, and there's also a note for you as well, and she'll head out the room and up the stairs. She'll leave it to your reading and eating alone. So, do you want the note first or the newspaper?
With a note first.
Yep. So it's from La Rosa, and she's written that the next favourable tide to the island will be late tomorrow afternoon. That's when she can next spare is here to bring you there.
And Bennett will sort of say, remind me what it was we asked the Benedante.
Yeah, it's just to get you back to that plague island.
Right, okay.
The newspaper? There's a few little things in here. Christmas is approaching. There are advertisements for choir practices at several churches dotted around the city. The city of Venice will be hosting a festival on Christmas Eve with carols, bell pulling, food, music, a carousel, animal rides, etc. The blessings and processions are due to take place on December 31st, 1866, to ring in the new year. The whole city is expected to turn out for the festivities, and there is a sense of excitement in the air. In sad news, the body of Osiel Marden, caretaker of the Palazzo Dario, was located deceased in the Palazzo. There was evidence of a break-in, and the Carabinieri are treating the death as suspicious. The city of Venice will be hosting a delegation from Austria just after Christmas to discuss the Italian policy.
Shit.
The next Aqua Alta will impact Venice on the 28th of December. Remember to board up your windows and doors securely to prevent the ingress of high tide water. Pedestrian walkways will be deployed as required depending on the water depth. The city urges all to be careful and mind their steps during these treacherous times.
What was the one that made Severino shit himself? I was distracted by
It's
the
a-
caretaker body.
Visiting delegation.
From Austria.
Not a major issue, I guess, but if you could get some holy water, that would be useful in more than one issue.
I am sure we can organize that.
The more the better.
Of course, Severino. But you do realize this would perhaps be as effective against the plague as your vinegar.
Well, there's no need to be harsh. This vinegar's given me good health for some time. However, it is not the plague that concerns me. Anyway, I'm going to go to
And
the docks
as
and
you-
have a...
Hang on. And as you have that conversation, an ear-splitting scream rings out. And it's coming from up the stairs.
bolt up there.
Yeah,
You
that
bolt.
shakes Bennett from his kind of stupor, and he rushes upstairs.
Okay. So as you come out of the dining room and you look up the stairs to bolt up said stairs, you see Artemisia standing in front of the mirror. And she is grabbing onto the banister railing desperately with one hand, as her other hand has been grabbed by a hand emerging from the mirror. And it's trying very hard to pull her in. And it is a pitched battle of strength as she's trying to stop it, dragging her through the mirror.
I'm going to shoot the bottom of the mirror.
Roll and don't botch it.
I didn't say he's a genius.
He's not one for half measures, old Severino.
No.
One.
One success.
Oh,
Oh my goodness. Okay, yeah, you are a smooth, cool, calm operator. You draw your pistol. It's
Just
cocked,
crouch a bit and
track.
yeah, shoot at the bottom.
You shoot at the bottom of the mirror and the glass shatters. You miss, Artemisia, thank God.
Good.
But the glass shatters and Artemisia recoils back to the mirror as whatever was holding her lets go. And the
Yes.
mirror,
Did it look like a human arm holding her? Or
yes.
that's kind of good, kind of not?
could have been a tentacle, I suppose.
And Artemisia staggers back and lands on her bottom and she's gasping.
Yeah, Bennett runs straight
Yeah.
for her to check on her.
She's perfectly okay. She's just shocked and she uses you to help scramble onto her feet. And there's something in that mirror.
I kind of.
Severino, thank you.
So it's in bits on the floor now.
The shards of mirror glass are
I'm gonna kind of glance at it and make sure there's not like a hand reaching out still or an eye looking at us or something. And
no,
Well,
but
you
Hideous face looking back at you.
that'll be me. Yeah.
well, the mirror's shattered now. But
Yeah.
do you want to give me all of you, if anyone's looking at that mirror, an observation roll,
Yeah.
please?
Yep.
Yeah,
Can't
that
help my
would be.
stupid self.
Yeah, for her looking at it going, what the heck?
Damn it!
One success.
Yep. Same.
Severino, one success. I got the one success. Bennett, No empathy.
4
dude.
successes.
Funny, you only rolled 3 die.
That good.
Okay, so you look at the fragmented mirror, and some fragments of the glass have landed reflective side up, and others have landed reflective side down.
Okay.
So the pieces of glass that are reflective side down look like, see a fragment of glass, and there's some lines etched across. And you pick up another fragment of glass. There's a couple more lines.
I'm kind of gesturing to it like, you seeing this, Agatha?
It just does seem that there was an inscription on the back of the mirror.
So nothing awful happens to me? I just didn't see this. Good.
No, but maybe, do you want to give me an observation roll? Maybe your eyes were distracted by something else.
1
Right.
success.
Very good. So your eyes were attracted to the backing of the mirror itself. So that piece of wood that laid against the back of the glass. So that portion has now been exposed to daylight. And on that oaken backboard, you actually can see words etched into the wood. And it's almost like a letter. And it goes, "Dear Lady Adelaide, how did you like my gift? By now, I expect you are sickened and only have a short time left on this mortal coil. You must know by now that you cannot run from fate. Monsieur M."
Wow. Not the nicest gift.
Monsieur M?
Mm.
Mr. S.
It is perhaps fortunate that Adelaide was called home.
I'm looking at Artemisia's arm and looking for anything unusual because Bennett is now very concerned that.
Yep.
Okay.
Artemis's arm it's reddened where it's been grabbed. There's some fingertip bruising that's appearing on her wrist, and that's all from mechanical pressure. But there doesn't seem to be anything more worrisome than that.
Okay. Yeah. Bennett's like moving Artemisia away from the mirror, and he's also like saying like, keep back from that blasted thing. Don't touch those shards without proper protection. I do not believe this gift was meant to scare or threaten. I think it was to kill.
Yes, it was. It was designed to kill Lady Adelaide.
Yeah. We should have sold it to that black market guy.
Told you. Unfortunately, I ruined my own plan by shooting it.
Bloody quick thinking there, Severino. And a good shot as well.
Perhaps, Doctor, you will take Artemisia down and make her a strong, sweet cup of tea while we clean this mess up. Agatha will fetch a dustpan and brush and be very, very careful not to touch it. And a sack. I'm assuming there's some form of sacking around, an old flour sack or something.
Yes. Do you want to give me observation roll? Let's see if you find a particular fragment that may be of value. 2 successes. That's what I wanted. Awesome. So a couple pieces have landed in close proximity, and you can see that the etching continues from one piece into another piece. So it's almost, there's a bigger image there. But more importantly, you see a maker's mark for a glass manufacturer on the island of Murano, imprinted in the lower corner of the glass.
That does seem to be familiar. We may perhaps have to make a visit to the glassmaker once we have dealt with this reliquary.
And the Black Rose twins and a bunch of other stuff. Yeah.
Could you hold the bag open, please, Severino? I think we shall put the pieces down.
Should we put it in separate bags?
Need a lot of bags.
Well, we should separate it into at least 2 and put one.
Yeah.
Perhaps bury one in the garden and put one in the basement.
Yeah.
Cool. You can do that, and I think that's where we're going to leave tonight's session, and we'll pick this up next week. Nice. schemes are coming together. Thank you very much to Blake, Jim, and Sharon for being good sports. And I guess we'll see you all next week.
Excellent.
Bye.